Okay, we're live on both. Okay, so it didn't say, so how do I get it? Hi, everybody.
Hey, we're just getting connected, so go to the search bar. You're going to have to search yourself.
Are you kidding? Oh, here we go. Just hit time warp?
Yep. Now click the blue. Nope, the circle. Where's this time mark? Your profile picture, yep.
Oh.
Next. Silly. There you go.
Okay. Thank
We
God
are
I
good.
have somebody young enough who can do this stuff
We are
for me.
good to go.
So anyways, it's the Oddity show. I'm so excited.
Yay!
And of course, you know, instead of a hat, I had to wear the correct things,
I know.
right?
Put the lotion
So-
on the skin.
I know, put the lotion on thing, right? So we're going to give you a minute before we start introducing our guests and everything. Can you hear me okay in this?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Do you think they can?
Yeah. Actually, keep talking, like say something.
Okay, so I'm going to walk up in a little bit. Here, let me walk up. The mask I have on, which is pretty cool. It's not terribly old. It's not terribly old, but check it out. It's like a Hannibal Lecter mask. Isn't that cool? Love it. Anyway, so we have them here. So come get one. It's really cool, right? So it's one of the little ones. But we're going to be talking. I'm going to have to take it off because I cannot wear this.
No,
the
yeah,
whole night.
for sure, I get it.
So, but how cool is it? I've had it on for a while. So we're going to take this off in a minute. I'll take it off over my head in a second. So we're going to be talking about oddities, and they can't see me. They're going to be talking about oddities, and we're going to be talking about, and we have a special guest here who will be over here in a minute. And those of you, I mean, if you've been in here, you know her. She's been with us since the day we opened, pretty much.
Literally.
So we're going to talk about why we have oddities, how we make them, our inspirations. All of us make them here, and what's coming. So without further ado, Nikki. Yay! Now, we need to move the one over a little bit.
Perfect.
Here, go ahead and can you move the one on the right over a little bit? Yeah. Hi, Mom. Hi, Steve. No, the other way so that you can see her. No, like this. Look at me.
Like, you want me to turn it?
Yeah, but yep. Keep going. Boom! There we are.
I didn't want it to, like, fall forward, you know?
Yeah. So anyways, of course, we're both here, and the show's going to be very similar to like it usually is, but we're going to be talking about oddities. We have Nikki here because Nikki does a lot of our oddities, and she comes up with a lot of the ideas that we do here.
A lot of the cool new ones.
So we're going to show off some of her art, as well as we're going to show off some of mine, as well as Jasmine's.
Woohoo!
So without further ado, Nikki.
Hi, everybody. As Jason said, I've been around for quite a while. I started as a customer back when they were down farther in St. Clair Shores.
And that was a long time ago.
A long time ago. Don't tell everybody how long.
I won't.
And I started kind of helping out with some of their online social stuff at the time, a little bit of the eBay and things like that. And then my background, I went to school for interior design, construction management, and art history.
Arts are fun, yeah.
I've always been a little bit on the dark side when it comes to being interested in Victorian mourning items, specimens.
Speaking of more Victorian mourning items, what do you mean by that?
So in Victorian era, to keep memories of the dead, a lot of it was incorporated into jewelry and clothing. So there are lockets with their lover's face in them when photography came around. They used to take locks of hair from their loved ones and braid them in these like meticulous little braids and woven patterns, and then they would put them either under glass in like a brooch or sometimes even in rings. There's even some, they call them memento mori sometimes, some rings that have little pieces of bone in them.
What are they called again?
Memento mori.
Memento mori, and those are the rings. I'm going to be repeating just
yeah,
so that.
Anything that's a remembrance of the dead, I believe it's Spanish.
But it has bone in it.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Could it have other parts of the body?
It's
like...
sort of like religious relics.
Oh,
it can
okay.
be pieces of cloth, pieces of bone,
okay.
pieces
So the
of
degrees
hair.
of religious
yeah, so
kind
it's all
of the
kinds
same.
of different things that you keep an actual like part of your loved one.
That's kind of cool. So hair art. So we've had hair, memorial hair art here, and unfortunately I don't have one to show you right now. And I was not being proactive in asking her to bring hers.
Because I got one here.
Yeah, she
Years
did.
ago.
Well, she's got some other cool ones. And what that is back in the day, they would use that to identify the people in their families that have passed. And they were big wreaths. They were beautiful. And it was a family history for the most part, because you could take the DNA off the hair follicles.
Sometimes you'll see all different colors of hair.
Yeah.
Like they do a wreath, and you can see someone was a redhead, someone was a blonde. Some of the hair obviously is gray from an older family member. They would put little beads in it sometimes and weave that in.
And they would never consider that to be bad luck or anything?
No.
Nope.
Actually, one of the most famous people who did do something like that would be Mary Todd Lincoln. Because when Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, she wore all black from then on out. But she also took a lock of his hair and made the necklace with it. And she would hold it with inside of jewelry caskets. Can you run and grab me one?
A jewelry casket?
Yeah, one of the boxes, the glass boxes.
Oh, yes.
Yep. And I'll show you what that is, and it was called a jewelry casket because that's what they would put the mourning jewelry is inside of those,
Yep.
right? We know them as jewelry boxes.
Yeah, and if they're glass and usually with a hinge top or like treasure chest style, a lot of times they are still called jewelry caskets.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I know them all as,
Yes.
is a jewelry
And this one has an
casket.
hinge top.
And this is exactly what I'm referring to. So it's similar to this, and they can be very ornate, right? And they would put the casket in there, and it would have the glass top so that they could look down in it and remember their loved ones.
And it would keep it more dust free than just leaving it out like on a jewelry tray.
Oh,
it would
yeah.
kind of protect it a little bit more since it's a precious item.
And hair, which would collect, and you can't clean,
Yeah, you
really.
can't really clean just
So,
hair.
I'm really bummed. I should have told you. And maybe if you dig back into our Oddity page, Time Warp Auditorium, you'll see what I'm referring to in there, which is pretty cool.
We could probably do a whole thing on Victorian
On just
stuff and
Victorian
round
stuff
up
to begin
everything we
with.
have and do a whole nother
Right.
special.
Absolutely. So, Nikki, show us some of your stuff over there.
Okay.
I bought one today. so
Bring
I'm
one.
sorry.
Yeah, she brought one. So she bought one today. So Nikki makes these, and Nikki had this fantastic idea. Now this one's not one of those, but
Yeah,
this
we're
one
gonna look
is
at
very
this first
similar.
one.
Yeah.
So some of them we do just with the bug and insect and specimens we have of the natural items, and then we've incorporated some butterflies. This one we went a little bit more romantic, gothic, not necessarily scary,
Will you
even
bring
though
a little bit
scorpions are
closer
kind of
to the-
scary.
But look how gorgeous that is. Yeah, right up to it. Yeah.
Perfect.
Look how gorgeous that is. So if you have a black and white area that you need something unique in, check this out. I mean, from the Asian scorpion to all of the little doodads that are in it, the Victorian lace doily, and the butterflies.
These
and
little
stuff.
buckles here, they might be barrettes, they might be shoe buckles, but they actually have quite a look of Victorian
Yes.
mourning jewelry with the ebony pieces. And then other ones we've done, we'll be working on a true tarot card set soon, but these are Hungarian fortune-telling cards. So they work similar to tarot, but you don't necessarily have to know all the cards' specific meaning. It's a little bit more intuitive, so you just get things that, like this one represents a letter and thought. And so we have a quill, an old love token in there, and then just a butterfly that kind of coordinates.
And it's the Morpho Steel butterfly.
Mm-hmm. So we have a whole series of these with different fortune-telling cards. There's
one doesn't have the
one that
bones.
says officer,
This has bones.
and it has a bone, but it also has some other interesting vintage
Yeah.
pieces, little knickknacks and collectibles that kind of all coordinate to come together and kind of go with the theme of the card.
So these are really cool because even if you're not into like really macabre, art,
Yeah, it doesn't
and
all have
oddities.
to be creepy. We try and keep some of it
Beautiful.
Tasteful.
yeah, beautiful, and something that you would maybe think it's just a painting at first, then you realize like the butterfly wings are real, or feathers, dragonflies, things like that.
And then of course, I'm dropping something, so excuse me for a minute. There we go. And then of course, outside of that, we do the butterfly ones, the steel morpho butterflies. And these again are great for if you don't like the very heavy macabre, or even if you do with some color involved. So morpho butterflies, I said all the butterflies here, And you've probably seen some of the how-to shows that I've done where you can show how to set the butterflies, stuff like that. And we have a ton of these, so we do a lot. This is steel blue, and you can tell the difference. Do I have something that has the,
I think we sold them.
oh, this one. Because that's a darker blue one.
And to further incorporate like our vintage
See the
and
different
old-fashioned
colors?
look, the background on a lot of the bugs, even if it's a simple
Yep,
one and
thank
it's
you.
just showcasing the insect, is vintage fabrics and wallpapers, and things that have another layer of style and
And it gives it the
coordination.
vintage look.
Yes.
Because we want to maintain the vintage and antique area aspect of it. So these are the old, and I'm sure you've all seen them, and I'll grab one in a minute to show you. These are all the sample books, the wallpaper sample books that you would see back in the 70s and 80s and so forth. And some of them are cool. And with this one working at some place where they are accessible.
Yeah, I had old stock interior design books,
Yep.
with period-specific wallpaper.
So these are really cool, and these are great gifts for people because people don't realize how beautiful they are and how great to have a piece of nature on the wall. Because cabinets of curiosities have been around since the 16th century, and before that we collected them throughout all of human history. But one of the things that was very first in Cabinet of Curiosity is nature. Floral, fauna, bugs, different things like that, butterflies, and so forth. So that's what started the Cabinet of Curiosity, stones, crystals, stuff like that.
It's kind of, it's a natural human instinct. I think when we were kids, we all picked up pretty rocks and dead
Big
bugs
oceans
and
right, and tried
bird
to
feathers and
Yep.
things that drew our eye or our attention, and then you could bring the outside in and decorate with little bits of nature. I mean, even just little pieces sitting on a bookshelf are nice. And now that we don't necessarily have a cabinet that we put everything in, although some people still do, you can start decorating your walls and the rest of your interior and incorporate it throughout.
And the butterflies are really good for even if you have accessories with butterflies in your kitchen and it's done in a very springy look.
Yeah. Or near your garden or your plants.
Yes, a framed butterfly is great. Aren't those fantastic? I love those. So, what did you have?
I put it down.
Why? So one of the other things that we do here is wet specimens, and we do them here, and I will explain exactly how. Do you want to talk about them?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a full disclaimer. If you're a person who is a little bit squeamish about wet specimens, I do just want to give you a little bit heads up because I will be pulling some onto the screen, and one of them is pretty ugly. So we're going to start with the first one, which is going to be a sheep eyeball. And usually we do have more than one in here, which I can for sure pull out and show you guys. But I pulled this one out specifically because his eyelashes are still here. And we also do make all of our wet specimens as well as our dry specimens in-house. So
Hi, Jessica. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Kathleen. Thank you for jumping on. Sorry for interrupting.
it's okay. And we have one of my favorites. Jason just recently put this piece together. This is like a new look that we're going with, which is going to be the snow globe. I honestly think it's beautiful. Even though I'm a vegetarian, I honestly think that giving this little guy a secondary life forever is great. And we also do have tons of different styles, different colors to choose from, but we also don't, it's not really called a warranty, but it's mostly kind of like a guarantee that if you do grab any of our wet specimens, and obviously over time the inevitable is going to happen, something is going to evaporate. If that does happen, just make sure that you bring it to us first and we can take care of it. If you take it upon yourself to do something before we can help you, whatever goes on from there, we won't be able to really assist with.
Okay, so one thing, this is new, and this is something new that we are going to be introducing, on top of something else that we're going to be introducing. But this is like she said, the snow globe, right? The snow globe, because you can do this with it, right? Like you do a snow globe and have it shake. And if you look, the chicken moves around. He does somersaults. You could easily do these and make them look like
Well, yeah, it's like a crystal ball also.
Thank you, I couldn't think of the word. Like
kind
a
of
crystal
mystical.
ball.
Yeah, it goes well
Right.
with
And right now I just have the chicken in there, and as you can see, it is completely waterproof.
And I do know we have some customers who asked me every single time they're in here, how do we obtain these items to use for our oddities?
Oh, okay.
Oh yes, they're
So-
ethically sourced.
So yes, they are 100% ethically sourced. Let me come over here so you can both see me. So all of our animal sub product here is all ethically sourced, and a lot of what looks like what it is isn't really what it is, but it is real. So in other words, like the little dumplings, and you know what? Let me get them. We don't have to open that. Say hi to them.
Hi. Okay, I'm gonna bring up these two because honestly, these are probably one of my two favorite wet specimens that we have. We have a leopard frog. Look at that. Isn't that gnarly? Look at his butt. He's cheeked up.
Okay, so whenever, go ahead and show those, and then I'll finish up.
And we have sheep brains. We have even bigger ones as
Yeah.
well.
Okay, so all of the animal byproduct that are inside of these jars are ordered by me from the same place that science teachers get them to dissect and learn from. So they're ethically sourced. Everything that we get from there, they were either just died of natural causes, were found, either stillborns or either attacked by other animals or whatnot. So they're all ethically sourced. And one of the main things I'm going to talk about is the ducklings, because I get asked a lot about ducklings. Because we carry these, right? We carry these. Do you see them? They're extremely popular, you guys. Now this is a baby duckling, right? And they come in black as well as...
Stacy, Jason does have a previous video posted to our page. If you are curious on getting that together yourself, he can walk you through that, how to put together a dry specimen.
Dried or wet?
Dry.
Oh, I most certainly can. I do have different things on both our YouTube channel as well as here on Facebook and Instagram about how to do certain things. And we are working on getting an in-store one done as well. Yeah, I can absolutely just send me a message.
It's a lot easier than it looks. So if you want to come in here and pick out like fresh specimens, and we use bits of broken china, we use old costume jewelry, anything that we can kind of incorporate to give it a little bit of interest. You can almost make like a collage of things that you like, and just.
And we sell the bugs. The bugs. This is a South American cicada, and the bats.
Nope, it's me touching this.
And the cicadas come in different colors and such.
Yeah, I showed him.
I bought the lovely Miss Jasmine one today. How cute.
And I'm not even joking, Nikki. Like, I
Bumblebees.
Wow, I love all the ones Nikki made. I think I'm gonna get this one tomorrow. I'd come in the next day and it'd be gone.
They go
So I just kept my mouth shut until I officially was gonna buy it.
So these are done in their original container so that you can buy them, take them home, and make something yourself. So what we try to do here is teach, and so people can learn how to do these themselves. So the bugs that you see on our art and stuff, yes, they're only available in the art. However, if you want to try it at home, you can.
If you see some inspiration and you want to do a different color scheme, but you like that bug or creature, and specifically we have back stock of most of them, or Jason refills the orders of different poses.
So this is the other duck, and let's talk about this duckling real quick. This duckling is a baby duckling, and we carry these because I'm a firm believer, especially during Easter, that if you're going to buy a duckling or something for somebody, it should not be a live one, because 9 times out of 10, they did not ask you for it. Yeah, or they end up hurting it, or it ends up getting hurt. So these are the best things to buy for Easter, for if you're going to buy a duck or something to somebody. So that's why we carry these as well. Now this, a lot of people come to me and say, oh my God, it's a baby duckling that died. No, it's not. This is an after effect, meaning that when the duck is killed for food and for down, everything that's left from the duck gets turned into this. So this actually, like the feet and stuff, artists get in there and they do it, and it's stuffed with paper, or probably paper, but they create it. So it comes from an original duck, but it is not a baby duckling. So you see, we are ethical when I just want to kill the baby duck for it.
Yeah.
So
it's like taxidermy.
Yeah, the taxidermy. So what time is it? I keep looking at my watch. You guys will see that.
It's 6:50.
It's 6:50 because I keep looking at my watch
And
that
I don't
left
have
at
one
home.
either. Yep.
I use my phone. I haven't worn a watch in years.
So, so that's one of the things I wanted to get across is that everything is ethically sourced. All of our wet specimens are done in isopropyl alcohol and water. We do formaldehyde and formalin behind the scenes. Like today, can you go grab that for me?
Sure. I hope they're watching.
Like today, a customer, and we do special orders too. We had a customer bring in one of his pet rats, and I processed it using injecting it with the formalin, making sure that everything is good with it, and then I bottled it for them. And it was his pet rat, so he gets to keep it. I've done several of those. The only thing that we don't do here, and please understand this, is domestic animals. Like if you brought in your pet cat or anything like that, I would turn you away. Only because
But we did my frog.
I don't know if I could do it. Frogs are different. So this is what his pet ended up being.
In a little heart.
In a little heart container, kicking back, just laying down in isopropyl alcohol and water. And it's just kicking back, having fun. So I tried a new technique. I am going to tell you, I tried a new technique because he really wanted a cork. And when you are dealing with wet specimens, the corks are not your friend.
They expand and contract with the moisture.
Yes,
temperature.
and alcohol sucks up into them, and they stay wet all the time and crumble and fall apart. So I took saran wrap, and I heated it onto the cork, and then so that there would be a layer of plastic.
Like a seal, like, yeah.
Yeah, so that way there's no liquid touching the cork, because corks never used to be a good, or are not a good solution as a top.
Not
for
a long-term thing, no.
Okay, so what else are we talking about? So let's talk about scary, shall we?
Yes.
What, are people laughing at us?
Oh, no, I'm laughing at us.
Who's laughing at us?
Excuse me.
So
hearts, but
let's talk about that one right there. So I created these things called scaries, right?
You can
And
see them all behind us, all the little,
Yep.
as I point,
Right
all
up
the little
here.
dangly guys up
yep,
there.
all those right there. She made this one.
We trapped one.
We trapped one in the jar. And what they are skeleton fairies, which work out very well if you have a fairy garden or a nice bird cage that you want to put it in there. Oh, look, she threw in the little clock here, or the little, yeah, that's backwards, so it throws me off.
I know.
She put in the little time clock because when you're in jail, that's what matters is time. Time disappears. So it kind of adds to it, which is kind of cool. All of you who are sending requests to be in videos, we do not bring people onto videos because it makes our screen smaller. We can arrange to have you on as a guest. So please message me after the fact, after this video, and we can arrange for the next video that you want to be in. Because if I...
Doing this split screen thing on our end makes like all these little windows, and then we can't see what we're doing either when we have too many guests on screen.
So let me tell you... Are you watching these?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me tell you a little did you know about Annabelle. And you knew this.
I did.
So Annabelle, because a lot of your oddity collectors love horror.
Oh yeah, there's a big crossover between horror movie fans, Halloween fans, Curiosity fans.
Yep.
It all goes hand in hand.
So let's talk about Annabelle. So did you guys know, I know I told you both earlier, but did you know that Annabelle was based off an original story of a little old lady back in the day, way back in the day, who had a doll, and that doll was Raggedy Ann, which I thought was funny.
it is.
It's a big Raggedy Ann
a
doll.
huge one too.
But apparently the company that owns Raggedy Ann did not want Raggedy Ann to be part of the Annabelle
Yeah,
collection.
so in the Conjuring films, she's not a porcelain doll with
No.
blonde hair and a dress on. She was a cloth
Yep.
rag doll originally.
And I
Which
read
is
this.
just as creepy.
It is kind of creepy. And I read the story that she used to tell the kids in the neighborhood that the doll would come alive and chase them if they came up on her porch or in her yard.
I'm gonna have to try that.
And that's what created the Annabelle.
Literally.
I don't know if it's part, like if it worked with like if that storyline helped create Conjuring, because I think that was a different one.
It was definitely at a house where the Warrens went for other paranormal activity, and they tied it in with this doll that was left over from I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was originally in the house, and so it was really there during something else. So
Right. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, Annabelle was not one of my favorite horror films, only because these long, drawn-out horror films that have hours in
50
between.
different
97 sequels.
Yeah, I'm just they become a little much for me. So that's one. Did you know? I have another one later. But with the Cabinet of Curiosities, I thought it was interesting that P.T. Barnum. So P.T. Barnum, Barnum and Bailey's circus. And if you haven't seen The Greatest Show on Earth, watch it, because this will be where you understand that the freak show that Barnum and Bailey did and their Cabinet of Curiosity, when it started traveling rather than being a stationary location in New York, and they started traveling around the country, really opened the door to modern curiosities and modern oddities. You know, from having the bearded lady to having the sword swallower to having just odd, crazy things. One of the biggest things that was added into Cabinet of Curiosities were photos of conjoined twins. And some of them are hugely famous. But, so, I want you to tell us, hello. Why not, right? I can't see anything because I don't have my glasses on. And they don't fit my face. They won't go around. I can't see. Anyways, so now we're going to talk about potions for a minute. Tell us about your potions.
Okay. I love making these potions. They can be used for a little bit of everything. I'll grab 2 of them. And this one is going to be for adventure. So this one is filled with a little bit of gold flake, but it also has olive oil for the base, which is great for clairvoyance. And then it also has a little bit of wheat in there just to really be in touch with nature. This one is a little bit different, but pretty much the same prosperities or properties. And then this one's going to be for adventure as well. Olive oil is still being your base. Got some gold flake in there. And then you also have a little bit of coral and some seagrass. And the last one is probably going to be our most popular, which is going to be our love potion.
We sold a few of them.
Which is cool. And again, olive oil is pretty much going to be the base in all of my potions, only because it is the most versatile base. It is a clean base, which means if you're having a bad day and you really need it for clairvoyance or for peace, it's great for that. If you also need it for prosperity and for money reasons, it's also great for that. Overall, it's pretty much like the clear quartz of oil. So
Okay.
this...
Oh, go ahead.
No, it's okay. What were you going to say?
Well, no, finish what you're saying and then I'll...
Okay, this one is love. So this one is going to have a little bit of rose quartz in here. We have some nice glitter. And then again, this is topped with, it looks like saffron, but it is not. I believe that this is another form of seagrass, but honestly, I'm not too sure. But the whole point of these potions are to either put this onto your skin or to give this to somebody who truly needs it. So these tops are removable. And they are glass, so be careful. And again, you can just boop, boop, dab it right onto your skin, onto your wrists or your neck. And then also you're going to want to give yourself some nice positive affirmations when using these, because the whole point... Yes, literally set your intentions, because if you just put this on and live your entire day without thinking about it, the whole point of you putting it on is just completely pointless. So again, just like Nikki said, set your intentions for the day and pick out your potions and you'll be good to go.
Go ahead.
I'm so sorry. These are also all pre-blessed. I do bless them, and even if you're not religious, I don't mean blessed in that way. I mean blessed into the overall aspect of I put nothing but good vibes and good intentions into these jars, so they are filled with nothing but love and good vibes.
And we do have quite a few collections. Now they're getting down, so we'll be making more soon. And they are, they're...
We do have prosperity, we have love, adventure.
This one's missing it. And they're only at $10, which is not bad at all.
And, I think this one's going to be for adventure too.
Plus, from a decorative standpoint, even if you don't want to open it and use the oil, I mean, you can use them as like a little talisman. They look pretty sitting on your bookshelf or on your jewelry. It's still something that you can like focus on for a visual. They're beautiful.
Yeah, they are beautiful. They're great to put on your little mirror for your vanity.
Thank you.
To sit up in there and stuff like that. So we do have the potions. We have the wall art that we talked about and stuff like that. We've got one of our previous oddity collectors, Emily, made these. The bone chimes. And it is a deer antler along with deer bone, so they go hand in hand. We also have, well, first of all, we showed you the scaries. that were inside the jar. But this is a scary right here.
Standalone scary.
A standalone scary. We go through these like crazy. Look at this thing. Isn't that cute? So you've got fish scales. Fish scales as wings, which are perfect for this. And they look great when you have them in your fairy garden. Because a lot of fairy gardens have cemeteries.
Yes.
And these are great to be floating above them, I thought.
We also have a bunch of spooky Doctor Who books.
Yep. So one of the, and we'll get to that in a moment, because we have Halloween stuff, and like we said, that your scary movies, Halloween, all of it is within the same department.
Yes.
But we're going to talk now about art and some of the things that I make, real quick, and ask away if you have questions. If anybody on here has questions on how to do stuff, you can ask them now, and I'll go back and I will answer them individually. But I'll do a brief, like this one. Somebody bought that real cool one.
Yeah, 2 days ago.
So here we have something like this, and if you look inside, what I try to do is I try to make some sort of a theme go on here, and this one is more natural driven because I had to create a top. So we've got natural stones on top, and then I love this container. So inside you have a morpho butterfly, the blue. Then you have field butterflies, and I've got, if you can look, you can see the different beetles and bugs, and I think that what is that called again?
Beach glass?
No,
The
rhinoceros beetle that's in there and such. And I love making these because and Nikki's made quite a few of them as well. I want you to make some because I think you do well. And before I show you the two big pieces, I'm going to show you a couple other. Oh, Nikki, there's one that you made we can show. So then there's this one, which I thought was beautiful. And that is a real rose that's in there. It's a dehydrated rose with some glass balls in it to give it that wet look with the butterflies, and then different just dried flowers in it inside of a bubble, which is pretty cool.
What is this?
Kind of like the rose from Beauty and the Beast. That's what it reminds me of.
Oh, those are cake toppers.
Oh, nice.
So, do you have a digital?
I do.
Okay, go ahead. While I get this out.
My creepy did you know for today is that did you know that if you're allergic to chocolate, you're about 75% chances of also being allergic to cockroaches?
Weird.
What?
I would love to know what the connection there is.
Okay, Nikki made this. This
That's
is one of
my
Nikki's.
favorites.
I
It's
do
hard
too.
to part with.
I know, and I love the fact that it's got this dangling.
Yeah, you can set it on the edge of a little
A
digital
table?
table and let it dangle, or you can just wrap it around and kind of let it do its thing.
Isn't that
A
beautiful?
little bit of movement.
Okay, so here we have the beautiful dome, and this is a tieback. So, like she said, we use a little bit of everything. Inside, I have a beaver skull. She has a beaver skull, a cicada. Look at that beaver skull.
Big cicada.
A big cicada.
He's got beautiful wings.
And the beaver skull. And then, of course, the clock and the little, you see the green right there, the green jade beetle, the green jade beetle there, as well as, I thought I saw another one. Oh no, that's the leaf. And then the little watch up top. So there's little fun hidden things in these. This is a beautiful
They're
one.
like an I Spy page. I like
Yeah.
to incorporate strange little talismans and
A
things
rib
that,
cage with
you
some
can
bugs on it.
Make up a story that goes along
Yep.
with it, or it's just something that's visually pleasing.
Isn't that
like
pretty?
A little piece of museum.
Absolutely. So we'll set this one back in here.
How long does it take you to do something like that?
That one took me a few hours because I was really fussy with it, but I also had to make sure as I was creating it, I had to keep checking that the dome would fit over everything and not jostle around because it's got a lot of pieces and
Yeah.
balance in there.
Right.
I didn't want to damage
So-
anything.
This is one that I made.
Love it.
And if you look, you got a lizard head in there. Looks like a little dragon head.
dragon.
Yep. With and this. Did you see what I put in it?
Oh, the Jesus fish, right?
Yeah, this is a Jesus fish, meaning that the inside of the fish has the cross.
It's some sort. Is it some sort of stingray or something that
Yeah.
when it decays, the skeleton that's left really looks
Yeah.
like a figure on a cross, and so
And so-
it's just like a good luck thing.
Yep,
We also
that's
have
in
this
there.
weird thing too, speaking of
Yeah, that's the
different-
shell crab. And then vertebrae, as well as I thought I saw and then a little bone, and then some crystals down inside so that look like rock crystals to give it nature. So these are really cool, you guys. You should come in and take a look. Plus, we sell a lot of this stuff, and you can create your own fantastic stuff.
But not everything that we have is always going to be super big. We also have small pieces.
Yeah.
We also have a lot of tchotchkes and knickknacks in this corner that have to do with Halloween, oddities, and spooky culture. I'm trying to think of, we have like lots of figurines, lots of bones, lots of hidden things everywhere. So don't be afraid to ask us if we have something specific.
I mean,
Yeah, Frank.
look at this.
That is a big bug.
So this is a beetle.
Is that a dung beetle?
This one, no, this one's not a dung beetle. This one is not a gigantuish. That was the real big one that sold. I can't remember the name of it. I'll have to look. There's some odd names, but look at the size of that beetle. So I had to put this beetle on a piece of stick. So I had to stick the beetle in there, and these things, or stick the stick up inside the beetle, and these things are tough. They're tough. They're not easy to get into, but they make a really beautiful. And I put
a little bit closer.
a jewel.
It just looks like a shiny ball.
Oh, a jeweled beetle
There we go.
on his back, kind of taking a ride. Isn't that cool? Kind of taking a ride with some moss down below. So these are really cool. Now I'm going to show you one other one that I'm dying to show you here, and then we're going to show you some little stuff that we have and stuff. I just made this, and I like to do stuff that has hidden things in it. Okay, so I just made this, right? And so let's take a look at this. Here you have the steel morpho butterfly, right? You have a large bug. I can't remember what they're called. It looks like a huge cockroach. So this is a real bug right here. The little ones around it are little toy bugs.
Which, tell me the story about how somebody found one.
Oh yeah, they found one that must have dropped, and people went nuts over it because they thought it was a real cockroach, but they're not. They're little plastic ones. Also, he's got a little gecko coming out of his nose. But if you look here, you've got a paw coming out of his jaw, right? You see the paw coming out of his jaw? Oops, my finger's on it, right there. So let's look down inside there. Do you see his eyeballs? He's crawling out from underneath. Do you see his eyeballs in there? If you look down into the jaw, you'll see a pair of eyes, like it's pulling itself out of the hole.
Like alien.
Do you see what I mean? Did you see it?
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, wait. Look down inside.
Nice. It's like Beetlejuice when she opens her mouth.
Oh,
and eyeballs
yes.
are
You open your mouth, open the mouth, and there's a little head down there, and the little paw is trying to pull himself out. So these are the things I like to do in mine. And then you've got beetles and all sorts of stuff in there because you have to have a variety.
A
Can we
variety.
talk about this
Yeah.
crazy sword I
We
just
got
found?
that.
Like,
That would be great for Renaissance Festival costume.
Yeah.
like look at the. Ooh. Look at that. I'll show you
Very neat.
one second Instagram. Like, look at this.
Very, very pretty.
This bag's cool too.
You know what else you'll find in our oddity department? Besides fantastic swords? But you'll find clowns.
A cop clown.
You'll find clowns.
We also recently started getting a lot of Zodiac stuff as well.
Yeah.
And cups, wall art,
Yeah.
knickknacks.
Yeah, anything astrology is still super, super popular.
And then, of course, we have the canines. These are all canines, but they're not dogs. These are canines as in coyotes, foxes, wolves, stuff like that. All pre-bleached, all bleached, and ready for home. So there's not any little unwanted friends in here. Because I'm going to tell you a little tip. If you just grab a skull off the ground and you put it in a piece of art, within a couple of days, little tiny black bugs will start to show up and run all over it. Because bone is porous, and little bug sacs are in there, and you can't really see them, so you really have to be careful. So, when you're doing bones,
Hitchhikers.
Yes. When you have a bone, your best bet to do is you throw it in the freezer for 24 to 48 hours. That will kill any bugs that are currently on it. Never, ever, 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 I can't say it how many times, soak your bones in bleach. Don't
just
do
makes
it.
them deteriorate way
Yes,
faster.
it does. And a lot of people
Makes
think
them
that you
brittle.
should, but you
No.
don't. Hydrogen peroxide. You want to soak them in hydrogen peroxide because the hydrogen peroxide will not only kill whatever remaining stuff that's in there, but the freezer should kill that.
But I do have a question.
But it will whiten the bone.
Yes.
Do you
Just
guys-
like your teeth.
Do you guys know the law about picking up bones?
Well, it depends on where you're at, because if you're on government land, you cannot do that anymore.
So does that mean like a park or something?
So, like, a lot of people go out west to the, they go out west to the the
Steve
desert
said that
areas.
The Roman style embossed leather tunic / breastplate. Steve, be a little bit more specific. Tell us
Right
what-
there,
I think
right
I know
there.
what he's talking about. Oh, here.
That right there.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm standing
So,
by it.
if you strand out, the breastplate, isn't that cool? So that's great for if you have a cosplay event coming up,
Right.
something like that, or you want to use that leather base as a way of
Yeah, that is definitely
adding
a great
stuff to it.
costume piece.
Yes, isn't that cool?
You could incorporate that and
So-
make a whole thing around it.
Back to the bones. Be very careful where you pick up your bones, because if you pick them up on government property, you can get in trouble for it. If you pick it up on private property, you can get in trouble for it. So you want to be very careful when you pick up the bones, and if you come across bones and it's on private property, just ask the owners if you can have them, because 9 times out of 10
They're going to say yes because they don't even want it there.
Right.
Being in Michigan, we don't have as many endangered species when it comes to like
does he say?
things that are going to be roadkill. You have to be very, very careful with birds. Almost any and all migratory bird, even if you think it's something simple like a sparrow, a grackle,
You
like
cannot hold
you
it
have
in.
to double check. Starlings are considered invasive, so I think
Yeah.
those are pest animals. But almost
Right.
all birds, even their feathers, which is sad because feathers
Yeah.
are beautiful and you find
So,
them everywhere.
Your
It's
Canadian
careful with
geese,
what
leave
you
them
have.
alone. They're migrating.
Oh yeah, never. touch.
Pigeons are not migrating birds.
Correct.
So pigeons and a lot of the birds that you will see, that bird bones, bird skulls will be pigeon. Both South American and North American pigeons would look completely different from each other. Or like crows, they're not migrating. Blackbirds are not migrating, stuff like that. But 90% of your birds are migrating birds, so just leave them alone.
Yeah.
It's better than a $10,000 fine.
I was always told not to grab feathers because they were dirty. Like if I had the option to choose between like a spare skull or like a feather, like my mom always told me to choose the bone.
Well, bones, but either are dirty.
Okay, for sure.
Okay, so
Well,
feathers
like if I-
feathers are like if you find our hair.
But like if I pick up a feather,
Be very careful,
You can
because
freeze
in the
it, too.
United States, eagles are 100%, the American eagle is 100% protected.
Right.
And you cannot own or have any type
Like
of
a
an American
feather or
eagle
anything like
feather
that?
or anything on you.
didn't know that.
It's, yes, because it is completely illegal. So just be careful what you're picking up in the wilderness, and if you are picking them up in the wilderness, process them correctly. And if you are unsure, ask somebody. Ask me, ask somebody. Watch YouTube. So some of the other things that we want to talk about is Halloween stuff.
Yes, it's one of my favorites.
Yes. So, there are all different kinds of stuff. So what do you want to show?
We have lawn props. We also have knickknacks. If you are a person who has a holiday village every year, we have a lot of things to incorporate for
Oh,
your
yeah.
holiday village.
So, some of the cool Halloween stuff is like these houses right here, and we have the lights and most of the boxes that go with them. She makes some gorgeous houses for Halloween. Wait till you see them.
Yeah.
So, tell us about those.
So, I have found old dollhouses, both like original wood dollhouse kits, and even some of the newer, slightly vintage toys like Fisher Price and things. The houses, I take them and paint them, make them look a little bit more realistic. Like I age some of the wood areas and I make it look a little bit more like a real old house instead of something cartoony. And then I add little pumpkins, things like that, and then I put the battery operated candles on the inside. I'll share some pictures to the page because I'm working on a few right now. There's a few that are nice and tall. They make a really great mantelpiece decor for Halloween. We even put one on our front porch last year for the trick-or-treaters to see because it was still kind of nice out last year on Halloween. So we had it on the porch as like a nightlight for the kids that were walking up the steps. So we'll be having repurposed haunted houses and model houses and things like that.
Fun. And bad taxidermy is always a good thing.
There is a Facebook group on bad taxidermy.
There is, and it's
There
hilarious.
is. So this, I have decided I'm calling the, this is what happens when the crocodile wins during Captain Hook. Okay, so during Peter Pan, the crocodile won, and he's all beat up, as you can see, and he's now got a hook in his hand, for a hand, because he ate it, with little mushrooms growing around him. So I'm not a big one with throwing away old taxidermy. I like doing this type of stuff. Also, this is something that Nikki made, which I just thought was astounding. Look at that. Isn't that cool? I mean, that is a shelf display piece, isn't it? That is fantastic. This is what you do with things that are great throughout the store. So somebody had mentioned the bats, right? Check this out. This is one I did with a bat, the larger bat, and we can order the larger bats because we got a fishing and wildlife license in order to have them brought in, and you have to do that now.
They're quite a statement piece.
Yes, they're quite a statement piece, but look at this, with the butterfly on the wood piece, with the thank you, driftwood, which is from Hawaii, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, so this, with the driftwood, I wanted to keep it a very sandy background with the bat, because
Nice
bats
neutral
live
palette.
anywhere. Neutral palette,
Yeah.
it can go anywhere. So the bats are fantastic. I love dealing with the bats. But the one thing you have to be careful with bats is when you are doing bats by yourself, remember, a bat wing is the same thickness as our human hair. So you got to be careful.
Very delicate.
Yes. So we have all different things, and this hangs on the wall, or it's actually thick enough to sit by itself. Then, okay, trigger alert, I'm going to show you guys a spider. And I have to say that because some people are crazy when it comes to spiders. So I'm going to show a spider. This is what they call a David Bowie spider, which is also known as a huntsman spider. Look at this thing. Isn't that crazy?
Arachnophobia.
Arachnophobia.
Right
Now I'm going to
there.
tell you, when you look at that, can you tell that anything was wrong with that?
No, I mean, they look very natural. They look like they could just be sitting on a branch ready to pounce on you.
So this one was one that I had to re-put back together.
Really?
Yes. His legs were gone.
So it is like arachnophobia. Somebody's
It is, kind of. So, anyways, I found all his legs in the box. This came in this way. He had one leg still attached. Well, who was it?
Essential spam.
Oh. There was one leg still attached. All the rest were in there. So I put him back together. And it's all original parts, so you can do that. So just because you break a bug or a spider or an animal does not mean you have to throw it away. Because look how perfect that looks, isn't it? Two people jumped off because I showed a spider.
LOL.
I have definitely repositioned and reattached butterfly wings,
Yes.
or had to put them at a different angle. Just like we like to resell items rather than see them end up in landfills,
That's
we
why I
like
said
to
trigger
repurpose
attack.
everything. So even the little bits of specimens that we get that are a little bit imperfect, they might not be great for like just a showcase item on their own. But we can still incorporate them. Even the broken butterflies, you know, we can hide them in some rose petals. We can tilt them a certain way so that we can still use the specimen that we have and not let it go to waste. We just get creative with how
Yeah.
we hide the flaws.
Absolutely. Like, well, I think it's sold. So, Emily, one time, we had a bunch of butterfly wings that were broken, so she did the whole background in butterfly wings, and then put a bat in front of it, and it looked fantastic. So, in our oddity department, we also have other things that are not necessarily considered oddities, for that matter, but they have the bugs or the salamanders that we carry.
In the right light, anything with like a natural
Element.
yeah, or like, you know, where it could incorporate with the other things. It doesn't
Right.
have to be necessarily aimed at being
Absolutely.
spooky, or it wasn't intentioned that way, but if it looks good, or, you know, gargoyles.
Okay, so this is a gargoyle, a stone gargoyle. What I love about him is he's sucking his thumb.
I think he's like, who am I about to eat?
I like
now?
the fact, well, the only reason I think he's sucking his thumb because this one is up higher.
Yeah, he looks like
So it looks like he's, do you know what I mean?
Okay, I feel that, yeah.
But you're probably right. But to me, I would say he's sucking his thumb.
For sure.
So, and it's a heavy one, but look how cool that is. Isn't that cool?
Great bookshelf piece.
It's a great bookshelf piece. And it's a sitter, so its legs sit off. And then, like I said, we have the cool, and look at that. We have the cool things like here. But I want to show you guys, can you see this? No?
little tiny bit.
Well, what I want them to see is that over there.
What?
So can you clear that off for me real quick and open it?
About this?
Yeah. So we have a few minutes. So I'm going to show you some really unique pieces that I make and that we have, like our the tiaras, the bone tiaras, as well as the Theater Bazaar mask, which
Sadly
has canceled this year.
Put these on the cart, please.
Yeah, it has sadly canceled this year. So, but there will still be.
All the more time to plan your costumes for
Yeah.
next year.
Are you talking about Zumbo?
Yeah, it's canceled.
Oh, you want to know what's really crazy?
So it canceled, but and I'm going to show you. Go ahead and open it, and if you can hand me carefully the mask and the tiara. So, while we're doing that, we have stuff like this as well. And this is a little skull, but it's made out of lead, you guys. It is so heavy. It's made out of lead. Isn't that cool? So it's a great paperweight for the desk. It's fantastic.
Can you wear
Yeah, I'll
my
get
arm
it.
isn't long
No,
enough.
I'll get it.
It's like a game of operation.
No, yet I didn't want to snap the mask that was in front of it.
I'll do the mask first in a minute. So this is a tiara, a bone tiara that I have, right? So this would go on your head like so, and I made this, so you would just put it on. I mean, with bobby pins, of course, and then, which is really cool. So if you are a princess or anything that, especially for Halloween, what else would they use these for?
Renaissance Festival, yeah. Halloween parties.
Halloween parties.
That would be great.
Any event that's at the Tangent
Exactly.
Gallery.
And then that is the tiara. Oh, there's a dead behind
Spooky photo shoot if you need elements for going and doing your own.
So I make these completely custom. I make these completely custom for Theater Bazaar. If you look, you've got Mama Spider here, and then all the little spiders around it. And I know I just did a trigger because of the spiders, but Divine was my inspiration.
Love it.
No. So, anyways, if you need
Bones
one,
and flowers
Yep.
and
Sparkles,
crystals,
gems.
like all kinds of little things in there.
yeah. So all of these, like we make, I've got a blue one for somebody I'm going to be making in a minute. So we do those types of things. And then we have, this is a great beaver skull. See the beaver skull? Isn't that cool? I mean, these are great to have sitting on your shelf. They really are. I mean, this is something that you don't see a lot of.
A good reminder to brush your teeth.
Yeah, right. And then these fun little things. Just fun little doodads that we found out and about. I didn't make these ones, but you gotta love their creativity on them. Anybody know where I set my glasses?
Right there, Silly Goose.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so I have another Did You Know? So let me tell you this other Did You Know. First, let me show you these. Check them out. Friday the 13th Jason masks, as well as we have, ooh, it's all tangled up. Anyways, we have necklaces that have Ouija boards on them. We carry Ouija boards, but right now I am sold out. And I'm going to turn you a little bit this way, Nikki, so you're going to be full on. And as you look here, you've got medical. Medical is a great thing to add to your cabinet of curiosity, especially the old, oh, you got them. Oh, I'm sorry, thanks.
No, it's okay.
Especially the old medicine bottles.
Apothecary items
Yeah.
are really big. Yeah, different jars, different medical tools, vials, beakers, things like that.
Funeral things, like the funeral flag up there. We've had the headrests that they put, that they put the bodies on when
We've
they
had
do the
embalming
autopsy.
tools.
Embalming tools, stuff like that. All of this is stuff that is collectible. So we also carry, which I'm going to turn around and see if I can do this without knocking you guys off. If you look up, I don't know if you can barely see it up there. Here. Full taxidermies right up here. Here we have a coyote taxidermy as well. Franklin. We've got a deer mount up front. So we do carry full taxidermy around. I promise you guys that we are working on getting new equipment. Yeah, we do. Actually, are we out of the empty embalming? Oh, we are. They're all gone. So we had all the vintage or the old antique embalming bottles with nothing in them, but the embalming bottles up here, but that looks like they all sell. We hunt for them. Trust me, we look for them. What else? Oh, I was going to say the did you know?
Yeah.
So, one more did you know about, let me tell you another did you know.
Someone in the comments said you hadn't yet
I know, I
embalming
see
and
it.
funeral tools.
We did get them. You know what the craziest thing that I've ever had is, in my mind, even though they weren't that crazy, was the headrests for when they did the autopsies on people. Mm-hmm. And they were from the 1970s. It stated right on there that it was the mortuary company out of Chicago, 1972. And I thought, how many bodies sat on this?
And if you're weird like me, I'm like, I need it. I need one of those.
But I'm going to tell you, that design that held the head for the when they do the autopsies are actually what they use for pillows. Designed to design pillows because it holds the neck and the spine perfectly.
The base of the skull properly.
Yeah, it's crazy what they do those with. But we get them. They go fast. Funeral stuff goes very fast. So, post-mortem photos. So, I'm going to say something small because I think we sold our last one. Yeah,
it was background here.
So, we get post-mortem photos. We do not get a lot. I'm going to tell you, maybe in my entire life, I have only seen one positioned post-mortem.
It's not post-mortem,
no.
But it is a creepy Halloween picture.
It's a creepy Halloween picture. Old Halloween pictures. So post-mortems are pictures of dead people, right? And back in the day, they're going to be mostly children or old people. And back in the day, a lot of those post-mortem photos are the only photos these people had of their children. So it was common for them to take a picture of their child in the coffin. So if you come across a post-mortem photo of a child in a coffin, it is definitely a post-mortem photo. Or an old man, or a person laying in a coffin with flowers around. That's definite. One out of every maybe 10,000 would be a positioned post-mortem. A lot of people look at photos that are just odd-looking photos, and they immediately go, oh, post-mortem. And it's not always a post-mortem.
Most of the time, if people were sitting up, they had to hold still so much longer for photos. Our photos now are instantaneous, or we have like the super fast shutter. Yep. You can take multiple photos. Photography back then, it took so long to expose the film that people would have to stand very, very still.
Right.
That's where you get a lot of the old like seance type of photos too, where there's like a ghostly figure in the background. It's because somebody like walked through the frame, or so you have the still people and you have like these vaporous looking things behind them. But if they're sitting up, for the most part, it's just a really bad family portrait, or they're leaning strangely because they had to sit in a comfortable position and hold their pose.
Is this also
long
why none of them are smiling because they didn't want to smile?
Oh yeah,
and
a lot of times
smile either. They look very serious. And photography was so rare and also expensive back then.
Oh yeah.
So people weren't getting family portraits every year for the holidays, and like he said, like a lot of times, sadly, the only photo they have of their child is because they untimely passed away, and by that time they hadn't had a chance to get a photograph yet or have a portrait painted. Right. So it was like, well, this is our last chance. So as weird as it seems today to have photos of dead bodies saved, like that's the only memory visual that they're going to have.
It is. And and you got to look at postmortem photos as a beautiful thing, because you know what I mean. I'm a firm believer that
it's
photos honoring the dead. Thank you. It's honoring the dead, like when we say their names.
Absolutely. Or it's a different aspect of a Dia de Muertos.
Yeah, Dia de Muertos. The Day of the Dead.
Yes.
Yeah. So honoring your dead, but a lot of people think that just because it's odd or it has the shadows, it's a postmortem. Don't be fooled, and don't fool. So if you are not 100% sure it's a postmortem, then don't bill it as a postmortem. You know what I mean? Because it's probably not one. You got to be very careful.
You can
with
appreciate it for
postmortems.
being similar to, or say it,
Right.
it looks like it, and it's creepy when you can't tell anyway,
Right.
or when they have very dire expressions, or, blurry faces or stuff. Like, old photography is neat in and of itself.
Oh, it is neat in and of itself. And, but there are positioned postmortems. If you do come across a position postmortem and you're guaranteed that it is a position postmortem, one of the things that you'll know for is the cost.
Oh, yes.
Because a positioned postmortem
rare.
will be hundreds of dollars. And I don't care if it's this big. But, like I said, 9 times out of 10, it's not. And they just think it is. Because of the contraptions they use. So, be wary. Shopper beware. So, see, these are the little Ouija board pendants. Aren't they cool? So, Halloween 2, these are fantastic. These are Halloween. They're for Halloween. They are little baskets.
Little trick-or-treat candy
Little
buckets.
trick-or-treat. Here's your thing. So, which are really cool.
Those
So
are like new old stock.
they are new old
I was
stock.
gonna say this is when brands
These are
actually
fabulous.
cared about their
Yeah, this is-
customers and like made cool things.
So
for
that
them
was
to,
Milky
like-
Way, and we have a Snickers as well.
He's
Aren't those
cool.
cool?
They remind me of the McDonald's buckets.
Ooh,
but
they
I
do.
mean, they brought those back because, boy, memories.
The originals
Everybody
go for a ton of
loved
money.
those.
And of course, we have your blow molds during Halloween and stuff like that. But I can't put everything out because there's got to be a surprise or two here.
Yeah, literally.
You know. So, anyways, that is one of our oddity shows, and I know that we did not cover nearly all of them, like our stags, our deer antlers, our skulls.
But if you come on in, we can give you a
Yeah,
live show in person.
absolutely. Because there are some fantastic stuff. We have some very creative and talented artists that work here. And it makes me happy that we are showcasing people's art,
Heck
but
yeah.
in a vintage way.
Yeah, all of our stuff, it's like modern art, but at the same time, we like to repurpose.
Yeah.
We reuse things from the store. We reuse things
Yeah.
that we find at estates.
Yeah.
Bits and pieces of collections. So it's still a way to reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yep.
Keep
Give a
the
second
vintage
life.
items, and give everything a second life.
And don't buy real animals for people as gifts. Buy fake ones. Also, my last did you know before we come to an end, and I hand it over to Jasmine to tell her follow
Goodbye.
stuff. My other did you know is about Amityville Horror.
Oh, yeah, good one.
And Amityville Horror, which was loosely based on an original situation, where a family of 7, mother, father, 3 boys, 2 girls, all but the older son,
And a dog.
and a dog, all but the older son were shot and killed in the middle of the night by an intruder. Then you had the son who found the bodies, tell the police that he was away, and then in the process of them trying to hide, he stayed at the house, right? Telling his neighbors throughout the whole time that he's hearing things in the house and all this type of stuff. Then he tells the police that he wasn't gone away from school or away. He was actually just gone for the day and came home and found him. Then a couple weeks later, he told them that he was actually in the house. This is how it went. It was so crazy. He was actually in the house, in the basement, had something on so he didn't hear but muffled shots. So he went up there and the guy was gone. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then it came out that he actually shot them. The 28-year-old shot them, and then the story of the family started to come out, and it was awful. Like how mean they treated everybody in that family and stuff like that. But the whole time that he was living there, he was telling people that he heard and saw stuff, so that when he told the police that he shot him, he told them that he was hearing voices and being forced to do it by an entity. And that
He was like building his case.
he was
Pretty
building
much.
his case,
He
and
confessed.
that is how the it just morphed into this huge franchise of a horror film. I mean, granted, he doesn't get anything. He's probably in prison if he's even alive.
Right.
But it turned that house sat empty for almost 20 years because of that story.
For sure, which is crazy.
And it
Now
wasn't
you
even
said the
true.
family owns it,
But
they have had no problems.
but people did die in it. Children did die in it. So, that part was true. But I just thought it was interesting how our own fears can turn something into something that's not.
Absolutely. Well, and gossip.
Well,
And
gossip from them.
spreading
Yeah.
the story
Oh,
in
I
the
know.
game of telephone.
It's so
and how
crazy.
Everything changes. It gets creepier and.
Anyways, I'm going to hand you over to you.
And Herman. I'm bringing him
And
with me.
Herman.
Yep, I named him. So, me and Herman are ready to say our goodbyes. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And again,
thank Nikki for coming.
oh yeah, thank Nikki for coming. It was such a great time to have you.
It's my first time. It was exciting.
Woo!
I
Again,
mentioned the hair purse.
oh, this really creepy, ugly hair purse.
What do you do when you have separation anxiety and you get your hair cut? You turn your loose hair into a purse.
Into a purse. We're still using Threads now. We're still trying to get as active as possible. TikTok is meh, but again, we appreciate all of the follows and the comments on our TikTok. I can't remember what our show is supposed to be next week. What's our show next week?
90s.
90s. So be there or be square. And again, in the comments, how about you let us know what your favorite part of today's show was? Because mine was meeting and naming Herman because he was great.
Oh.
Everyone say bye.
Bye!